by the way, the first time this. Well, good evening and welcome. Ahead of Sunday, the big day when the election results for 5 states come out, we bring you the results of various exit polls. It's fascinating.
Yes.
A couple of surprises.
Yes, and there are a number of outliers as well, Vishnu. So, as Vishnu and I were just discussing before this show began, there are some good news for both the parties, but there is some real surprise factor, and that's coming from the southern state of Telangana.
Absolutely. Now, the reason we have chosen at NDTV not to do an exit poll, and I think we need to say this right up off the top, is because exit polls have been known to be notoriously inaccurate in many cases. We see lots of outliers today, which is why we want to bring you trends and patterns, and then we'll wait for the big day. The big question, while assembly election results do not typically translate into Lok Sabha results, what everyone wants to know is whether the timing of these elections in MP, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Telangana and Mizoram, so close to the general elections, make this, or does make it, some sort of a referendum on what we can expect in a few months from now. Controversial statement.
Yes, but we have seen what happened in 2019, Vishnu, when results were very different in the assembly elections, and then the Modi wave happened in 2019. But coming to these elections, 5 states which have polled already, which includes India's youngest state, which went to polls today, that is Telangana. The big picture that is coming is of the trends, and that's on your television screens. We have all the exit polls of various agencies flashing on your television screens. Telangana is certainly coming as a big surprise there, Vishnu, with almost all exit polls suggesting that it could go the Congress way.
Well, Marya, before you read out what Telangana is actually showing, in case our viewers want to know what the overall trend is right now, and I was sort of dividing it up, the Congress, it appears, is ahead in 3. The BJP appears to be clearly ahead in 1. There are outliers. Mizoram too close to call. Telangana absolutely fascinating in terms of the Congress fight back. But again, it's close. It is going to be close, I think. That is one clear trend. Certainly in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh as well.
Yes, absolutely. And Madhya Pradesh becomes a very, very fascinating battle because a number of pollsters are suggesting that it is going to be a cliffhanger. But then there is Axis My India, which has had its history, Vishnu, of 90% elections getting right. They are suggesting a wave of sorts for the
BJP in Rajasthan, right?
For the BJP in Madhya Pradesh.
In Madhya Pradesh.
Yes.
So that is an outlier over there, but they have a lot of credibility. But what we'll do is, let's quickly run our viewers through some of these states, and then, we'll start our discussion in just a moment. But first up, let's start with Madhya Pradesh. And this is what the broad trends are, and we're going to identify where this is coming from. These are exit polls. And in this first set that you see on your screens over there, you can see a summary of all of the numbers, 95 to 115 versus 105 to 120 as far as Dainik Bhaskar is concerned. India Today, 140 to 162. That is the outlier Marya was speaking about, as opposed to 68 to 90 for the Congress. India TV, 140 to 159 for the BJP versus 70 to 89 for the Congress party. 100 to 123, Jan Ki Baat versus 102 to 125 for the Congress. Just the broad trend over here, other than the outliers, is that the Congress appears to be somewhat ahead in the majority of these polls.
But if we
that doesn't establish anything.
Yes, if we were to look at today's Chanakya 1, Axis My India 2, and then there is India TV. All of them are suggesting that there is a sort of a BJP wave here in the state of Madhya Pradesh, and they have given the state of the Congress in more or less in the same range of 69 to 70. So that undercurrent that many were talking about.
So the range, you're absolutely
yes.
right. The range overlaps in most of these cases. It's just that a couple of them appear, a couple, not all,
yes,
appear to give the Congress an edge of a few seats, yes, at best.
Yes, and the halfway mark there is 116. So it's not really a Congress undercurrent, Manisha Priyam.
I think the biggest winner over here are independents.
Yes.
I mean, are we likely to see smaller players
not
in Madhya
Pradesh, not in Telangana. So I think this has been one of the worst elections for the smaller parties. I'm waiting to see what Rajasthan turns out to be. That's the only place where...
But look at Madhya Pradesh first. I mean, if you go by the trends, narrowly ahead for the Congress, too close to call, well
so
within?
the thing is that this was a state that was said to be tilted towards the Congress party, right? This was said to be the election for the Congress party to win. Now, if these are the results, even the best case scenario for the Congress party is in a very minor way scraping ahead. So this is not what the wave could have been like. I would say that the core of Madhya Pradesh still remains a BJP held state. It was for the BJP to have overcome its own structural constraints and to have done what they did at the very end, which is to get Shivraj Singh Chauhan in and to have a pan Madhya Pradesh wave around the BJP.
That 3 union ministers, 4 MPs and a party general secretary in Kailash Vijayvargiya, and throughout the election keeping that suspense whether who will be the chief minister, although the Ladli Behna seemed to, if we go with these numbers, seem to have saved the day for the
So an
BJP.
under-discussed factor is obviously Jyotiraditya Scindia. That brings Shivraj Singh Chauhan in. And I think on the ground, Jyoti Scindia did seem to be quite a liability. So, but I'm going to wait for the 3rd of December. And if what I see on the 3rd of December is what I have seen on the ground or what I have heard on the ground, I don't know. It's all sealed up in the boxes, not reading anybody's mind. What's the contribution of Jyotiraditya Scindia to these numbers? None
we'll
whatsoever.
have to wait and see.
So the thing is that if these are the results, then certainly you cannot discount the Shivraj Singh Chauhan factor to the best case scenario of the BJP and to the best case scenario of the Congress party, which is perhaps just coming in. So that is explained in both cases by the Shivraj Singh factor weighing heavy. That's my understanding.
Despite the fact that he wasn't really projected as the dominant face, if the Shivraj Singh factor does click in, then it would be quite
I mean, who reigned in the Congress? What's the answer? Not Jyoti Scindia, but perhaps the campaign
but my
putting
question
its
to you,
faith
Rajat,
in.
was in the last assembly elections, the BJP won 37 seats, 6 more than the Congress in seats, where the margin of victory was less than 5%. I mention this simply because if it is going to be extremely close, it's these seats which might actually swing it one way or the other. Is that something you'd be looking at as well?
No, 100%. I think vote share wise, barring the Axis My India, which says 47% vote share for BJP, that's their projection, which clearly means that it's a massive wave and a huge undercurrent. Doesn't seem like anybody on the ground was, crisscross the state. This seems just way too much. But more so, if you look at the other vote shares, it is just too close to call. I mean, both the parties sit at a base of around 40 to 41%, both the parties. Whichever way the anti-incumbency, pro-incumbency, whatever you say, that's the chunk of vote that both the parties sit on. And calling out in this big size of a state, it's very hard. And that requires
vote
huge amount of
was
data
0.1
churning.
difference between the two last time around.
Exactly, and you require a lot of
Vishnu,
assessment.
if we were to look at the larger picture, 8 pollsters have given their numbers, of which 5 of them are saying it's a close contest in the range of 105 to 115.
That's what I'm explaining.
Yes, and 3 of them are outliers, which includes and all 3
outliers
have given it to the BJP.
Right.
And in a huge number, it's 140 to 162. That range, if it were to hold, Manisha Priyam, it means it's like
this much.
it has not happened
even if you go conservative,
yes.
My point is precisely this. Even if you go conservative, you find that the Congress is not sweeping Madhya Pradesh.
Yes, that's
whether
very
in the
true.
outliers or in the conservatives.
Absolutely.
Now, what explains that? The outliers are simply saying, okay, we are pulling off the last range and we are now saying this.
Yes.
That surge may or may not happen. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yes, so
I didn't see it.
there was no Congress undercurrent which has been sensed here.
what is-
Rohan Gupta, this doesn't bring you any good news if we were to look at Madhya Pradesh alone, because if 18 years of anti-incumbency and a visible fatigue factor against Shivraj Singh Chauhan and the BJP doesn't yield into victory for the Congress, then what will happen to the Congress party going ahead? Because is it also about you not projecting the second generation of leaders there?
I think, Marya, we should wait for 3 days. If you see these 8 polls, can you read anything out of it? I'm not saying it is Congress or BJP. There are many polls who are saying that Rajasthan Congress will win. See, the way these numbers are, it clearly shows that there is a close contest. Whether it is Congress or BJP, it's a very, very, very toughly fought election. So I think we should hold our comments for 3 days and that we should do analysis, because there are 3 polls who have given edge to Congress party. Will you rule them out? Number one. If there are 8 possibilities which are not matching each other, Don't you feel there can be a ninth possibility where there is a Congress wave? But I don't want to make any irresponsible statement at this juncture. I think if you only common statement or common trend I can make out of these polls is there is no common trend. Because the way few polls are saying Congress, few polls are saying BJP, there is a huge gap. So I think we must wait for 3 days, whether it is showing Congress or BJP.
One thing that is becoming clear from all these trends or pollsters is that there is no Congress undercurrent, that despite
Absolutely
18 years of anti-incumbency, Congress is failing to spring a surprise. What is appearing to be a consensus in Telangana is appearing to be a confused picture here. If anything, most pollsters are giving it to the BJP. And a very convincing victory for the BJP.
I think there is a clear-cut wave in favor of Congress. And you will see the same thing in Rajasthan, if you will see the same thing in Madhya Pradesh, in Chhattisgarh, Telangana, all the states. Because I'll tell you why. There is one common factor that Congress fought this election based on the performance, number one, of their government or on their promises which they have delivered wherever they are in power. So I think it's a clear-cut election between the Congress promises and BJP's no agenda election. And that's why I see the way we see that eight polls who are just raising this confusion, I see there'll be a ninth possibility. There'll be a clear-cut Congress wave, Congress voting in favor in MP. You'll see that after 3 days.
But just Rohan, in terms of Madhya Pradesh, in terms of the trends that we see, where it is a bit closer but slightly ahead for the Congress party, are you still considerably short of where you expected you would be?
See, again, I'll just repeat my statement, Vishnu. If you see this and if you see the gaps between this number, if you see the lower range, it ranges from 64 to 120. Just these two polls on your screen which are showing, the lower number for Congress is 68 and the higher number is 120. I don't want to comment even on 120, right? I can very conveniently say that, no, we will believe this poll. I don't want to do that. When you see this kind of variation in the surveys done by 8 and 9 agencies, I feel we must hold our horses. But yeah, from the practical experience, what I was there on ground in all the states, one thing common I saw that people trusted Congress's promises. People trusted that wherever Congress comes in power, they deliver. So they will do the same thing in our state.
One thing is also becoming clear that this could very well be a pro-incumbency election in the state of Madhya Pradesh if we were to look at that picture. We have BJP spokesperson Siddharth Yadav also joining us. Siddharth Yadav, very few gave a chance to you, but just look at the numbers that are being shown. Most pollsters are agreeing that it will be a complete range, a range which is overlapping between the BJP and the Congress. But others who are outliers, 3 of them are suggesting a clear, decisive mandate for Shivraj Singh Chauhan. But the question is this a victory for Shivraj, or will that be then seen as a victory for Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
Look, absolutely. First of all, from the very beginning, we were very confident that we are forming a very full majority government with all comfortability. There was no issues at all. We are a cadre-based party. We have a large organization. And as these organizations are also gathering their data of what is happening in every seat, we also have cadre up till Panna Pramukhs, and we were getting the feedback that the people of Madhya Pradesh are supporting the 18 years of Sushashan of what the Bharatiya Janata Party has given to the state. They even
just hold on to your thoughts. We have BJP General Secretary and Indore candidate Kailash Vijay Varghia joining us live. Kailash ji, नमस्कार, आदाब. सवाल आपसे है, ये जो numbers हैं, हम आपसे मिले थे इंदौर में आपकी जनसभा में, वहां पर जो माहौल दिख रहा था, आपने बोला था देख लीजिए यही है वरदान लोगों का. क्या लग रहा है, आप किस नंबर से संतुष्ट हैं कि क्या होगा मध्य प्रदेश में?
मैंने कल भी कहा था और आज भी कह रहा हूं कि 130 से लेकर 160 के बीच में कहीं पर भी आकर नंबर रुकेगा. और ये सब मोदी जी के नेतृत्व का कमाल है. मोदी जी के मन में मध्य प्रदेश और मध्य प्रदेश के मन में मोदी जी, और उसी का कमाल है ये. और जो गरीब कल्याण की योजनाएं राज्य सरकार और केंद्र सरकार की थी, उसमें हमने गरीबों को फोकस करके और गरीबी रेखा से ऊपर लाने का प्रयास किया. प्रदेश में विकास भी हुआ, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बहुत अच्छा हुआ है, इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ बहुत अच्छी हुई है, हमारी सड़कें, हमारे यहाँ पावर की स्थिति बहुत अच्छी हुई है. और इसलिए एक प्रोग्रेस साफ दिखाई देती है. और मैं समझता हूँ प्रदेश की जनता ने हमें इसीलिए खुद से आशीर्वाद दे रही है।
कैलाश जी, 8 एग्जिट पोल्स में से 3 एग्जिट पोल्स क्लियरली आपके पक्ष में है, पर 5 एग्जिट पोल्स जो है वो शायद स्लाइटली कांग्रेस के पक्ष में है। तो आप उन एग्जिट पोल्स के बारे में क्या कहेंगे?
देखिए, ये एग्जिट पोल ही है और इसलिए इसके बारे में सिर्फ एक संभावना है, कुछ आप लोग लिमिटेड कुछ टारगेट करके और एक संख्या का सैंपल लेते हैं, और इसलिए यदि स्लाइड कांग्रेस को आगे भी बता रहे हैं तो मैं एक बात बहुत साफ कहना चाहता हूं कि पूरे देश के अंदर महिलाओं का विश्वास भारतीय जनता पार्टी, मोदी जी और शिवराज जी के प्रति बढ़ा है, और इसलिए महिलाओं के पास तक पहुंच ही नहीं पाते हैं आपके सर्वे वाले लोग, और महिलाएं साधारणतः बोलती भी नहीं है, और इसलिए बहुत आश्चर्यजनक परिणाम आएंगे। और मेरा दावा है कि कम से कम 130 सीट आएगी और अधिकतम 160 तक जाएंगे।
कैलाश जी, आप विमेन वोटर्स के बारे में अभी बता रहे थे, और आपके ख्याल से मध्य प्रदेश में विमेन वोट, द वुमन वोट विल बी मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट। कुछ हफ्तों में सेंटर से, मध्य प्रदेश सरकार से भी कई स्कीम्स अनाउंस किए गए हैं, 35% रिजर्वेशन ऑफ गवर्नमेंट जॉब्स फॉर विमेन। आपके ख्याल से ये एक इम्पोर्टेंट फैक्टर रहेगा इस इलेक्शन के रिजल्ट्स में?
देखिए, एक सतत चलने वाली सरकार जो पिछले 20 वर्ष से प्रदेश में काम कर रही है, लोगों ने खूब कहा एंटी इनकम्बेंसी है, सब कुछ है, पर एक विकास के लिए प्रो इनकम्बेंसी भी होती है, और यह पूरा की पूरा चुनाव विकास को ध्यान में रखते हुए और डबल इंजन की सरकार, लोगों को विश्वास है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के ऊपर विश्वास है, मोदी जी के ऊपर विश्वास है, शिवराज जी के ऊपर विश्वास है, उस विश्वास के कारण हम सरकार फिर से बनेंगे।
कैलाश जी, भाजपा ने टिकट्स और कैंडिडेट्स का अनाउंसमेंट समय से पहले कर दिया था, मॉडल कोड ऑफ कॉन्डक्ट शुरू होने से पहले ही अनाउंसमेंट कर दिया था। 3 केंद्रीय मंत्री, 4 सांसद जमीन पर उतरे थे, आप खुद चुनाव लड़े हैं, तो क्या आपको लगता है ये जो कंफ्यूजन रहा कि मुख्यमंत्री कौन होगा, वो भी आपके पक्ष में हो सकता है, वो एक इशू आपके फेवर में वर्क कर सकता है अगर ये नंबर सही रहे तो?
देखिए, इसके बारे में अभी कोई भी टिप्पणी करना उचित नहीं है, पर मैं इतना ही कहना चाहता हूं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने काम किया है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बन रही है, और प्रदेश की जनता को मोदी जी और शिवराज जी पर विश्वास है, और मैं समझता हूं कि ये बहुत साफ बिल्कुल दिखाई दे रहा है परिणाम।
जो विष्णु बोल रहे थे महिलाओं के बारे में, तो आप ये मानते हैं कि लाडली बहना ने क्या आपको मदद की और आपके लिए शायद वही एक गुड न्यूज़ होगा जो वुमेन वोटर है? और दो, अगर आप बिग पिक्चर देखेंगे तो 2% कम आई हैं इस बार औरतें पोलिंग सेंटर्स में वोट करने के लिए, तो उन लोगों का वोटिंग बहुत अहम है, एक वुमेन कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी भाजपा के लिए इमर्ज हो रही है।
देखिए, सभी वर्गों ने वोट दिया, विमर्श ने तो दिया ही है, क्योंकि वे सुरक्षा सबसे पहले चाहती है, वो चाहती है कि उनके घर के अंदर, उनके किचन में सस्ता गैस मिले, सब सुरक्षा सबसे बड़ी बात है। लॉ एंड ऑर्डर मध्य प्रदेश में इतना शानदार है कि बस रतलाम राजस्थान की तरह नहीं है। राजस्थान में किस प्रकार महिलाओं के साथ रेप हुए, किस प्रकार राजस्थान में महिला असुरक्षित है, मध्य प्रदेश में महिलाएं सुरक्षित है। आप तो इंदौर आइए, रात को 2 बजे भी हमारे यहाँ महिलाएं बिल्कुल आराम से सराफे में चाट खाती है और निकलती है परिवार के साथ, तो उनकी तरफ आंख उठाकर भी नहीं देखता। 20 साल के सफर में हमने विकास किया है, लर्न एंड ऑर्गुमेंटन किया है, इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ हुई है हमारे यहाँ। हमारी अगर आप देखेंगे तो पावर सरप्लस स्टेट है हमारा, सड़कें हमारी लगभग 5 लाख किलोमीटर हो गई है बिना गड्ढे वाली। मैं पीडब्ल्यूडी मिनिस्टर था 2003 में, 60,000 किलोमीटर गड्ढे वाली सड़कें थी, आज 5 लाख किलोमीटर सड़कें बिना गड्ढे वाली है। ये हमारी सरकार की उपलब्धि है, और लोग चलते हैं सड़क पर तो महसूस करते हैं, अस्पताल में जाते हैं तो अस्पताल सुधरे हुए दिखते हैं, स्कूल जाते हैं तो स्कूल में बहुत अच्छे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, टीचर्स मिलते हैं। ये सारी चीजें सरकार ने की है, और इसका परिणाम है कि हम इस बार फिर से सरकार बना रहे हैं।
All right, Kailash Vijayvargiya, thank you very much. You are optimistic. All political leaders are right now. We'll see what happens on Sunday. But yes, there are clearly indicators that the BJP may do well. In other exit polls, it's going to be quite close. Sanjay Kumar with us as well. He analyzes things with far more detail than the rest of us do. And I'll ask you an elementary question because it is on everybody's mind. I know the numbers. I know what has happened in 2018 between Lok Sabha and Assembly elections in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and in the other states. But given the fact that we have national elections just a few months away, do you believe that there could be some sort of a linkage in terms of sentiment? Is this, for example, a referendum on what the Hindi heartland is thinking about 2024?
Certainly, it's not a referendum. In my opinion, it's not a referendum. But there are two scenarios. Imagine if Congress manages to do very well in the Hindi heartland state, including winning Telangana. Is it going to have an impact on 2024 voting trend? I don't think it is going to have an impact on how people are likely to vote for 2024. But it would certainly add an euphoria, positive euphoria for the Congress worker, for the Congress party leader. So that's certainly going to happen if Congress manages to win election. But if BJP manages to win election in say 2 or 3 states, I think even this euphoria will not be generated for the Congress for 2024. That's the likely outcome of 2023 for the 2024 Lok Sabha election. In my opinion, and there are enough examples, you have already mentioned, people vote differently for assembly elections and the Lok Sabha election. That trend seems to be continuing. Maybe the degree of degree may have decline, but the same trend continues even now.
And Vishnu, just a quick word from Sanjay Kumar also on, because you did pre-poll survey, not the exit polls.
We have also done post-poll survey, which we'll release tomorrow.
Yes. So, but when you look at these numbers, particularly...
You're welcome to release it now if you want. just letting you know. I mean,
the suspense should get over here. So, if you were to look at the big picture and the trend from Madhya Pradesh, what is it emerging? Is it coming as a surprise?
I am not surprised.
You're not surprised.
So you get a sense of our post-poll indication.
Yes.
I am not surprised about most of the exit poll are indicating, say, a BJP slight edge in Madhya Pradesh. It's a very tight election.
It's not.
It's
a split. There are 3 which are out and out projecting
that is
the BJP. 5 very narrowly, and that also the top edge of the band.
No, I want to ask a question. The India Today Axis poll is
and
projecting a vote share of 47%.
Yes.
The
and
tight
41 for the
pollsters are
Congress.
saying
6%
41, 42, 1% here and there. So I do think that Sanjay ji needs to explain whether 47% can hold.
No, but I didn't do the exit poll. How do I explain 47%
I'm
votes?
saying what would be the scenario be like?
No, my own
Scenario.
sense is that...
I'm sure you didn't do it.
Madhya Pradesh, it's a very tight election and the difference is going to be just 1.5%.
That's it.
And my own sense is that BJP is slightly ahead. But as I'm saying, it's a very tight election. 1.5%.
So fighting off incumbency, a huge factor for the BJP in Madhya Pradesh.
Absolutely.
And Manisha was mentioning the Jyotiraditya factor over there. Your argument that perhaps he's not done enough. If they do eventually come back.
Forget Gwalior Chambal. I have fieldwork notes which I will talk on Sunday when we have the results. They are telling me of his people in other districts, in Neemach, for example. So
your argument would be the BJP may perhaps have done better.
Have done better than
But on a serious note, Manisha, I would be really surprised if BJP manages to get 47%.
That's what I'm saying. That surprises me.
I would be at Lok Sabha levels.
Yes.
Those are the numbers. It
Yes, because that's actually the Lok Sabha numbers.
Yeah. So it's really surprising.
I'm waiting to Marya.
There are 3 pollsters, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'm also wanting to tell you that on Sunday, when the results unfurl, I will tell you that Gwalior has Madhya Pradesh has 2 important regions that make it even Steven. The Gwalior Chambal Vindhya versus the Malwa. I would like to see what's happening in each, and that will tell you what Jyoti's contribution has been or not been.
If we were to
these victories are coming, then they are perhaps coming from Malwa. The BJP's route to victory is through Malwa.
Yes, but
now who's the leader of Malwa?
Yes,
those are the answers.
So if we were to look at the breakup that has been given by India Today Axis, they are saying in the Malwa region of 55 seats, BJP is winning 41, Congress 14. We go to Mahakaushal in 47 seats, it's 32 to the BJP. That is the breakup. I'm talking about Chambal, since you spoke about it, ma'am. In Chambal region, out of 34 seats, BJP is getting 19, and Bundelkhand 26 seats, BJP is 18. So that's why they're talking about a gap of 6%.
No, but can't you see that where is the region where they're performing the worst?
I'm just trying to understand, since we've been speaking about the Malwa region, and I think it is quite interesting.
Very
Sanjay.
important.
If you look at a total of 88 seats, I'm looking at the 2018 assembly election results. the vote percentage difference between the BJP and the Congress was less than 1%. The seats were about 5, which is significant. Do you believe that ultimately it's going to boil down to Malwa, given the number of seats, twice as much as any other area approximately in Madhya Pradesh?
No, Vishnu, in my opinion, it's a very tight election. As I'm saying, it will be a difference of 1.5%, not more than that. That's my assessment.
That's the only question I was asking.
And if the election is going to be so tight, no region is going to be swayed one side or the other. Yes, parties would lead over the other in one region or the other, but the leads are not going to be by 6%, 5% in one region. Every region will witness a tight election, but as in the past we have seen, even 2018 election, in 3 regions BJP was ahead over Congress, and in 3 other regions Congress was ahead over BJP. That's likely to be a repeat of 2018 election.
There's fascinating stuff coming up ahead. I know Marya wants to go across to Rohan, but we just must take a short break at this stage. We've been focusing on Madhya Pradesh, and I think we can talk for the next couple of hours on Madhya Pradesh, but we've got 4 other states to talk about as well. So we'll come back in just a few moments. Welcome back. We've been looking very closely before the break at what the exit polls have had to say about Madhya Pradesh. It's time now to turn our attention to Telangana. This is one of the most fascinating elections, not least of all because we see a serious fight back by the Congress party, and this is reflected in what all the polls have to say. One way or the other, it is a dramatic drop for the BRS in a state where the BJP continues not to be a significant factor. If you look at this data, India TV says 31 to 47 to the BRS, 63 to 79 for the Congress. The next poll says 40 to 55 for the BRS, 48 to 64 for the Congress. The third one, perhaps not an outlier given that it is a trend, 71 for the Congress, well ahead. That's Chanakya, well ahead of BRS, 56 to 68. Look at the second column for the Congress. That's what Republic has to say, as opposed to 44-56 for the BRS. And this is a trend that actually continues. Let's go straight across to NDTV's Uma Sudhir, who joins us at this stage. Uma, just in the last couple of days, we've seen a couple of potential setbacks for the BRS. A couple of their schemes, the Raito Bandi scheme was halted by the Election Commission a few weeks prior to that. The entire association in the Delhi liquor scam. These were problematic areas. Do you believe that this could potentially be having an impact on the voter?
Not the developments in the last 2 days for sure, because the Raito Bandhu scheme is something that's been in existence for the last 11 cropping seasons, and it's well established that the government has been paying out money to about 72 lakh farmers, and people don't get upset because it's not being paid on a particular date and being paid a little later, because they do expect it to ultimately come up, because anyways there was no date that was mentioned. Between October and January is when the payout for this particular
but the Election Commission stopped the payout right now, right?
The problem for the BRS, yes, they had first given a go-ahead, which would have certainly been a plus for the BRS, because that gives a psychological kind of a boost that, yes, the credibility of the BRS government that's already been established over so many seasons as far as Raito Bandhu is concerned, it would have helped them. But the stopping of the scheme itself is a boost to it would have given a sigh of relief to the Congress. But I don't think it had anything to do with the kind of outcome that these exit polls at least are predicting. Okay. The larger question that the exit polls are looking at and probably telling us is the story of the momentum of the Congress that all of us were seeing from rural Telangana and also urban Telangana.
Yes, absolutely. Rohan Gupta, if we were to discuss this election, say in November last year, it was the BJP which was there in Telangana as the challenger. But in the last few weeks or months, I should say, the election picture changed completely. And then the Congress, which was right there in Telangana, which BRS perhaps had overlooked, emerged, which was right lurking around the corner, I would say. But look at the vote share gap. 20% is huge. And if the Congress were to topple this government, and as exit polls are suggesting, they have really covered quite a gap.
See, Marya, if you see Telangana, last 1 year has been like a thriller movie. It's completely 360-degree change in the local politics. Why I'll tell you, before 1 year, as you rightly told, BJP won few of the by-elections. Their president was doing excellently well. But somewhere, BJP realized that the gain of BJP is going to help Congress somewhere. And this is the interesting point I'm telling you, because I have been there in Telangana for last 3 months. So I now get the pulse of the ground. They changed their president, and that is the biggest point against BJP in local people's mind, when they changed the president who performed well. So clear-cut idea was that BJP has considered the defeat and they are going to support BRS. And somewhere the way BRS, BJP, they work together at central government in the liquor camp, the way there no action was taken against Kavita. So BJP, BRS का जो इलू है जनता के सामने आ गया. Other thing is MIM. So there was strong anti-incumbency against BRS. People were searching for the alternate. But when they realized that BRS, BJP and MIM are one, then there was only one alternate, that was the Congress. So all the anti-incumbency vote, concentrated in favor of Congress, whether it is minority or upper class or farmers, everybody they came together for Congress.
Yes.
Number two important thing is the Bharat Jodo Yatra. It really provided momentum to our workers, our cadre. Rahul Gandhi ji, the way he went through Telangana, kind of love he got from the people, I think it was a fantastic this thing. Third important thing is the way we won Karnataka election. It gave confidence to our people that, yeah, we can definitely win this state. And finally, the way the whole campaign went, I'm telling you, Marya, because it's not because I was there.
I would agree with you.
One of the best Congress campaigns
the credit
I
for
have
that,
seen in long time.
If these numbers hold, Rohan,
organized.
will be going to Sunil Konoglu, who is the election strategist of the Congress party. Before I bring in Siddharth, Madhu Yakshi Gaur, campaign committee chairman of the Congress party, is joining us live, also a candidate. Madhu, good to see you. Hello and welcome to NDTV.
Good to see you, Marya. Long time.
I can see that smile, and you have reasons to cheer if these numbers actually hold.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I think we believed in people of Telangana. The BRS party failed people of Telangana. Even changed their name from TRS to BRS. It's like an expired medicine putting a new day and serving the same medicine.
No, but Madhu,
so people fed up with that. Yeah.
But Madhuji, what is your sense of the? I mean, it was mentioned earlier on that it could be Bharat Jodo, which was the decisive factor. What were some of the other reasons? For example, Raitu Bandhu, some would say, and the fact that the non-availability of funds in the last tranche, was that something that went against the BRS? Would you suggest, for example, that KTR's vision of urban growth didn't resonate with voters? What is, or do you believe it's Bharat Jodo? What is it that the Congress seems to have done differently, which has worked?
Undoubtedly, Bharat Jodo played a key role. Before saying that, I could say they've encashed. You can't encash the check again and again. They've done it. They've done it in 2018. Raitu Bandhu and other schemes which they try to fool again. And there's no scheme. It is a Congress party manifesto on 6 guarantees announced by Srimati Sonia Gandhi ji, which people of Telangana have tremendous respect for her. And it is only because of her the Telangana is carved out. And secondly, the Bharat Jodo Yatra also helped as overall building the civil society and the intellectual groups and minorities. So they felt it is only the Congress party and Mr. Gandhi who can take on Mr. Modi, and they can fight on without any compromise. The divisive politics which led by Mr. Modi.
Madhuji, just half a second. Uma Sudhir has a question for you.
Mr.
Uma,
Madhu, this is Uma here from Hyderabad.
Hi Uma. And
first of all,
the quick thing,
I would think it's not really the Bharat Jodo Yatra, but it's really...
the arrogance of KTR is...
I must point out that the anger against the BRS government is really not visible to that extent on the ground. It's really the anti-incumbency against the MLAs that has worked for you. It is the momentum that the Karnataka Congress certainly gave you, the victory there of the Karnataka Congress that gave you the momentum here, I would say. And would you also concede that it is the leadership of Mr. Revanth Reddy, who was, for the first time perhaps a leader emerged, who was able to, in a sense, challenge the Chief Minister, who is at least in politics, about 20 years junior to KCR, and yet was able to challenge his leadership. Bandi Sanjay made the BRS uncomfortable because he was able to kind of get under their skin.
Yes, I do agree that Revant's consistent fight against KCR and his family loot, no doubt that played a key role, but it's the united leadership also, under the leadership of Rahul Gandhi. They had continuous meetings with the leaders of Telangana. Before even Karnataka also, he had that. Such meetings helped galvanize the leadership. A lot of criticism, mostly on the Congress leaders, they're not united, they keep criticizing each other. So that is where Mr. Gandhi has played a key role, bringing all leaders together. Even Srimati Priyanka Gandhi did it. She held a couple of meetings with the leaders of Congress Party of Telangana.
Right.
So all this helped. And then secondly, the arrogancy of not just the schemes, because it's the way they're behaving, the KT Ramarao and KCR, he never meets any people. He doesn't.
Right.
His style of functioning. Madhu, my question is that will Telangana mark a tectonic shift in Indian politics? This victory of the Congress party, if these numbers actually hold for third. The reason why I'm asking is because till very recently, till in Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation elections, the Congress was nowhere in the picture. And the Congress then emerges to such an extent. And if, again, I'm saying, because these are exit poll numbers, not the actual numbers, Vishnu, so we have to be skeptical about them. What really changed? What has changed in the last few months?
Well, if I'm allowed to say, I think let me put your own words. You said, Madhu, you guys have turned around tables, and from nowhere, the Congress of Telangana is coming to power. So, I think it's the consistent efforts of the people of the people of Telangana is fed up with the corrupt practice of KCR and his family.
Sure.
And let me add on to this. The result of Telangana, the Congress coming back to power in Telangana will play a decisive role. INDA leadership.
All right, so that's an important point, Madhuji, that this might
Rajasthan,
sort of add impetus.
Yes.
I take that
Telangana
point.
is the key. Why the entire leadership of Congress party put their Khargeji to...
All right, so we'll see where that goes. I just want to keep the ball rolling.
Telangana is very, very important for...
I'd like to thank you very much, sir, for being with us. And let's see what finally happens. Yes, we'll be connecting with you. So just book that in over there. I just wanted to go across to Pulla Rao, sir. I think one of the most remarkable aspects of what the Congress may potentially achieve is if you look at the vote percentages last time around in 2018, in rural seats with greater than 60%, the BRS had nearly 50%. If you look at urban seats with greater than 60%, 41%. Mixed, 53.6%. For them to actually drop as significantly as they did, what could the real factor be across segments?
You see, first of all, going on to what the Congress did right. I don't contest that. But what did the BRS do wrong?
Yeah, that's my question.
That's what the BRS did so much of wrong. They're so overexposed. The leadership and family was overexposed. I firmly believe in politics. There's a point where, it's beyond boiling point. You start getting the perception. A lot of people say these are elections contests between guarantees or things. I don't think so. I think finally everybody is offering the same thing or more of the same thing. It's the leadership, the perception of the leadership. You go to any of these other states also. Rajasthan, they've offered everything, yet there may be a setback. Madhya Pradesh, they're all offering the same thing. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, they're doing better. Therefore, anti-incumbency here, pro-incumbency in Madhya Pradesh. I personally think the behavior, I don't know whether it's the correct word, the way they've conducted themselves. Don't forget, KCR did a lot of innovative things. The Raitu Bandhu scheme in India was for the first time for the farmers.
Even on irrigation, even on urban development, at least the rhetoric on transforming Hyderabad at so many levels. He spoke internationally about it. He secured international commitments to funding, etc., etc. That all backfired.
No, it's all an ongoing project. Hyderabad didn't start.
I think if this turnaround happens, remember this was a united Andhra Pradesh. The Telugu sentiment still somewhere overwhelms the Telangana sentiment will be the net outcome. The Reddy power, remember, Chandrababu Naidu rules this region by subdividing the Malas and Madigas. That's a card that other parties tried to play. But what you see is that Reddy power comes back, and that's the challenge to Telangana. So in a sense, this whole crafting, the Birsa Munda of the Telangana project, KCR, being defeated by the very Congress party from whom he'd snatched away. I remember the day when silence fell in Saifabad in that beautiful legislative assembly that had once been the joint assembly of both the Reddy capital invested from, it's almost an override journey from the coastal parts, East Godavari to here. Now that capital invested in Hyderabad went lock, stock and barrel to KCR. Look at the assets he inherited from Chandrababu Naidu. Look at the world's biggest investment outside of Silicon Valley and outside of Bangalore happening
that's dropped
I mean, from Gachibowli, it's a carved out city of
Manisha, Rajat had a point, and
I was just going to build on what Manisha ji said.
But could you also answer my question?
Yeah,
we haven't spoken about one party over here
that will happen
in Telangana. We haven't spoken about the BJP at all. They had one seat. It seems that this time around
6-7 months before, it was the Congress which was losing deposit. It was BJP which was the single biggest challenger. They had the national executive.
I think the BJP peaked too soon.
No, it was like series of mistakes. They couldn't even hold on to the good people, good leaders that they had poached from the Congress, and they were building up their bases largely from imported leadership base. But the moment they saw the whiff that they were not able to rise up the leadership ladder, they all left and joined Congress back. And you look at Rajagopal Reddy, you look at G. Vivek, you look at 2-3 other leaders who all left BJP in a flurry.
Outsider business in BJP. Inside
like old and new ones. That also, created rift within the BJP. But look at Congress. Please, it's important. It's a case study. They started with one base, which is the Reddy base. Reddy have been out of power. That community wanted desperately to come back in power. Number one. Number two, Muslim base. They largely understood that MIM is not the way to go. They started getting calls even from the Darul Uloom office from Delhi, etc., to vote Congress en masse. And this was the second big block. The third big block came in when KTR made this blunder. When Chandrababu Naidu was arrested, he said, "How does it matter to me? It's another state's affairs."
So let it be,
So all the secular base,
secular
base, which is so significant, these three chunks got together. And I'm telling you, these three chunks were enough to sway a wave.
That the BJP did, with Kishan Reddy being brought in as the face of, Telangana BJP president. Had those changes been brought about much earlier,
BJP,
it could have been a different
100%.
story.
See, BJP was not able to accommodate these bunch of high-flying leaders that they got from the other parties. It was Itila Rajendra who was brought in, was number 2 almost in the BRS, was brought into the BJP. He wanted his elbow room, and it was Bandi Sanjay who was not giving him the elbow room to perform. And the question before the BJP was that you have a whole mixed potpourri of leaders coming in from all the parties, and how do you sustain them?
Shubhendu Adhikari aspect, which worked in, say, Bengal, where he got his due. He got his place to play around. If the BJP could have repeated the same formula in here, they could have been a different.
They had two general secretaries in charge of that state. Prakash Javadekar ji as an election in charge, like top leadership of BJP were in charge and became too many cooks and spoiled the broth. But I'll just hold on one last moment. BJP kept slipping unless Prime Minister Modi came in. The last 5-6 days swung certain seats which were becoming tight, and eventually you will see that BJP winning.
But it was interesting that what the BJP was arguing, Amit Shah and the Prime Minister in Telangana in several senses was quite similar to what the Congress was arguing against the BRS. The problem with their leadership, the problem of arrogance within the family, the problem.
And ironically, they talked about family. Congress was talking about family. They had the 3 leaders, Sonia ji, Rahul ji, and Priyanka ji, talking about the family of KCR. Was still
what is the message here, Manisha? That Congress can still manage to convince people in southern India about they not being outsiders, but BJP in these parts are being seen as outsiders.
See, it depends on how you enter the electoral arena.
Yes.
I mean, for example, Yediyurappa is a very good example who has this image of being, the non-Brahman caste group, but also a farm labor leader, right? So whether you are seen as the labor leader, struggler from the ground, remember also that the Congress, when it fights in Telangana, it may have all the money, power, etc. But it still continues to have a lot of ground level fighters that go along. Remember also the unknown factor that we are not even talking about, the left party, have a lot of ground presence in the Telangana area. And I've spent years and years walking almost 400 schools in all blocks of Mehboob Jad Charla,
and what is it that you saw, the presence of the left at the ground level?
And there is one unity, which is to keep the extreme left out. The left and the Congress all unite on the ground. There are football matches, so on the top we may see them as different parties. On the ground they are all united. And one more thing, remember, the spirit of the freedom struggle triumphs all other spirits in this area. So the BJP needed to bring in a larger historical narrative. The Telugu Mata spirit, for example, it may have been a separate Telangana. All schools in Telangana have the Telugu Mata on their walls. So the fact is that there is a deeper structural arena that needed to be responded to by the BJP. A lot of investment in the historical narrative, which the BJP does very well. If we have to bring in a Maharana Pratap,
in terms of
the Rajasthan
Telangana,
history,
the identity of the state, perhaps not enough.
Figure out the local history. You did so much of Uri Gowda and Ninja Gowda in Karnataka. What is the Telugu narrative, or what is the Telangana narrative that the BJP has?
As well.
Cultural narrative, cultural nationalism.
We do need to take another small break over here. We're going to come back, turn our attention to Rajasthan next. It is all fascinating stuff. We'll be looking at the other states as well, but that's after this short break. My colleague Harsha Kumari Singh waiting very patiently, wanted to jump in on Telangana. We said, no Harsha, wait for your turn. Rajasthan up next. Welcome back. It's been a lot of fun. It's been entertaining. I'm not sure we should use that word, but it has been, because it is very, very close in some states. Not so. The interesting developments in Telangana, Congress clearly ahead. Not so in the other states. Let's turn our attention now to Rajasthan and bring you what the polls are actually saying. Remember, we aren't doing these ourselves because, exit polls tend to get it dramatically wrong sometimes. We want to be careful, so we're doing in a sense, a poll of polls, but we are bringing you what all the other exit polls are saying. So if you look at ABP News C voter, 94 to 114 to the BJP, the Congress well behind at 71 to 91. 98 to 105 is Dainik Bhaskar, the Congress and the Congress Plus, Congress and its allies, 85 to 95. This is interesting, the next one, India Today 80 to 100 and 86 to 106. So they are saying that the Congress is ahead. Not by a small margin either in the context of a close election. Again, another one, India TV, CNX saying 94 to 104 to the Congress, 80 to 90. So a big difference over there. Again, a reverse over there, 100 to 122 for Jan Ki Baat versus 62 to 85 for the Congress. So clearly for the BJP as far as they are concerned. News 24, the Congress at 101, they don't have a range. That's interesting.
Yes.
And the BJP at 89, so clearly ahead as far as the Congress. So what Harsha Kumari Singh, who's with us in the studio, was actually telling us is that it is quite close. These are showing the BJP ahead, the last three on your screen right now, considerably. So all in all, Harsha Kumari Singh, fairly close, but I would suggest in the direction of the BJP, all in all, more favoring the BJP than the Congress, which doesn't say very much. But I think that's
the trend of the
Is this
state.
surprising to you? Is any of this surprising to you?
Well, yes, I think so, because, Rajasthan does have the revolving door of politics, and that's one big factor. And, also like Marya said in one of the shows, there are 53 seats that the Congress never wins in the past 3 elections. So if and the gains for the Congress in the last election were Eastern Rajasthan.
Yeah.
So if you look at all these factors, I am actually a little surprised, because I did think that somewhere, it would be a clear mandate. It would not be a cliffhanger in Rajasthan.
But Harsha, if you look at it, 8 polls again, 6 of them are saying it's a clear mandate.
Yes.
For the BJP.
Yes, that's what I would say also.
Yes, and only Axis is saying it's a cliffhanger. But if you look at it, the larger trend is for the BJP. There is one which is an outlier, which is saying it could be the Congress way, which is CNX. But roughly all are suggesting that parampara or what is it called? Rivaj continue hoga Rajasthan mein.
But you know, interestingly, today Ashok Gehlot, the Chief Minister, was in Delhi and he said something very interesting. He said, he didn't say we're going to get a majority. He said we're going to form the government.
Right.
So I thought that was quite interesting that he said that.
Well, we are joined by Nalin Kohli of the BJP at this stage. So, Nalin, it's fair. It's even Stevens almost. It depends on who you choose to look at. Let's talk a little bit about Rajasthan right now. There is the entire leadership issue which the BJP in the state will now have to address. So that's the second part of my question. The first part of my question is, do you accept that this is going to be very likely very close in Rajasthan?
So, Vishnu, good evening, and good evening to the viewers of NDTV. As far as I see it, I don't see any risk to the BJP in the state of Rajasthan. I think it will be clearly a BJP government.
Great.
I think the numbers will be okay too. Rajasthan has a very clear trend, and I see no reason for voting in the Congress. And let me make that case a little more stronger. As far as the Congress is there, there's lack of leadership. So whenever the BJP is asked about the leadership, actually the question in the Congress is, with a defined leadership, why was there an internecine war between the leaders of the Congress consistently for 5 years?
Yeah, but you wouldn't want that within the BJP, right? You would prefer to have a clear leader in the BJP in Rajasthan. It's one thing to criticize the Congress and the mess they have had as far as leadership is concerned, but you haven't exactly projected one clear leader. There were 3 names doing the rounds.
8 names.
I think having leaders, first of all, the BJP has a model in which sometimes, and I'm using my words carefully, sometimes the leader is projected for the election. A large number of times the leader is not. So I don't think it's something new or unique to the BJP. And number 2 is it's the Congress which is in government. So it's really fighting to hold on to its fort, if I may pick up a Rajasthan analogy. And it's that fort which, as far as I see it, is breached. And there's no question of them retaining it.
Yes.
And there are multiple reasons for it. It's not just leadership. That was one part of it. The second part is about governance. Let's see what have been big issues for the Congress central leadership. Adani. I mean, here's an attack on a business house as a big national issue, while the Chief Minister of Rajasthan is welcoming him on a red carpet. So I think there are contradictions. There's lack of coherence there. So I am not at all worried about the BJP forming a government with clear majority in Rajasthan.
Okay.
And I'm happy to take up this conversation on the 3rd.
Okay.
May I also request that there's a lot of feedback on the audio. We need to do something about it.
I'll get that fixed, Nalin. Professor Sandeep Shastri.
Thank you, Marya.
You know, we have been looking at various
Also, your audio is not clear.
We'll try and fix that. We'll fix that. Professor Sandeep Shastri, talking about Rajasthan, you know, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Telangana, all the states, including Mizoram, this has been an election of Labhartis. We were certainly seeing that push that came from Ashok Gehlot towards the end, where he announced various schemes for women. And if the women of Rajasthan, because they have emerged as a constituency, you'll agree with me, Harsha, then they are actually going with the old tradition that when it comes to about Labhartis, yes, they may have been the focus, the spotlight may have been on them, but it's okay to look at another party. They do not trust the government in power.
No, the whole Labharti question should be looked at from a particular perspective. Governments would have schemes. How much has that scheme actually benefited people on the ground? Now, if it has benefited people on the ground, there is empirical evidence to show that voters have supported that party. However, along with that issue, if there are other issues which are in play, the Labharti issue is one, but with that, if there are other issues in play, we will have to take into account the basket of factors which would be responsible for a party's victory or defeat. This time around, my own sense is, while the exit polls come up with various figures, it's going to be a very tight race both in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, and one would of course cross the finish line, but it will be just crossing the finish line.
But
it wouldn't be the type of majority.
We haven't really seen a close contest, Harsha, in the past in Rajasthan. Rajasthan has
always gives a clear mandate.
decisive mandate, because it has that tradition which has been there for 30 years.
Also on that Labharti thing, I would like to add, you know, when you're doing, it also depends on the last mile delivery. So say a scheme like healthcare, which Ashok Gehlot has always, you know, pushed from the day he was chief minister, the free medicine scheme. You will not find people complaining about the health, because that's been very beneficial. But say the mobile, the number of people who got the mobiles and the ones who didn't get the mobiles, there's resentment among people who didn't get the mobiles. So it works, you know, both ways. As far as Labharti,
I just wanted to ask you one quick question. If you look at one of the key issues raised by the BJP, it's been the issue of corruption in Rajasthan. The fact that a red diary was sort of shown in the state assembly with all the details over there. Do you believe that this is something which has really had a resonance, or the issue of corruption against Gehlot?
See, what Ashok Gehlot was trying to do in last so many months, 6 months or more, was whatever issues of anti-corruption that had surfaced. Don't forget the minister who had to resign, he had raised women's security issue in the assembly, and thereafter he was sacked, and then this red diary issue came up. The corruption issue was there in Rajasthan. This was about corruption in higher places, but also in one of those meetings I was reading somewhere, Harsha can correct me if I'm wrong, Ashok Gehlot asked a question कि कितने लोगों को पैसे देने पड़े हैं, and many teachers raised their hands about that.
For transfer,
yeah, for transfer thing. So those things were also there. There were issues on communal issue, there were issues on law and order, there were issues of women's security, and there were the host of other issues, intra-party fight with Sachin Pilot and so on. He very smartly tried to cover all that up with his welfare scheme. Right. What Marya was talking about, Labharti, that one has to also assess if that Labharti thing is fair and transparent on last mile delivery, something which benefited Mr. Modi in so many elections. Also, the factors surrounding that. A, fair and transparent delivery. B, remember Labharti scheme mostly. It is women folk who come out and vote for that particular party. We have
a woman on the panel, and I'll be going to her now. Smita Gupta. Smita Gupta, you know, it's fascinating that among the popular women faces of BJP is Vasundhara Raje, a 4-term chief minister who this time around was not even projected as a face. But in the last lap, there was this realization, if you look at those imagery which emerged from various rallies, that she is a factor, that she crisscrossed the state and covered almost like 59 constituencies. Correct me, Harsha. So, do you think 50 constituencies? 50. Imagine, I'm just saying that could the party have given her a place of pride?
Well, you know, the current BJP national leadership, it is not very fond of leaders who challenge them or say that we are your equals. And I think that has really been the problem with Vasundhara Raje and Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah. It is a fact that Vasundhara Raje is, if you look at the state leaders of Rajasthan of BJP, she is the tallest leader. But they didn't want to give her that position because she has that, you know, I don't care for everybody, you know, I mean, I'm a princess. She has that kind of air about her. So even though she is the most significant BJP
leader. There are 9 Rajwadas in this election in Rajasthan.
But she is the most significant and the most powerful.
Go quickly across to Shankar Iyer, who also joins us now. Shankar, at the end of the day, just to pick up on what Marya is saying, the fact is that Vasundhara Raje cannot be discounted at all if the BJP does come to power in Rajasthan. In a situation like that, do you believe that she is the forerunner to become chief minister?
I think if there is a greater risk in second guessing, I mean, my primary principle while covering elections, which I have done since '84, is that never second guess the voter. The second, I now have a second principle, is try not to second guess Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. But having said that, let me give you a logic. Why did Vasundhara Raje lose ground in Rajasthan? If you remember, in the last election, the slogan was Vasundhara Teri khair nahi, Modi tujhse bair nahi, and they voted accordingly. Has the question that you would want to ask is the case proven differently in the result that will come on the 3rd? Has she made a substantial difference? And the question in Mr. Modi's mind is of two kinds. One is succession, which is why you had the 75 years rule that came in when he came in 2014. The second thing is that he has always tried to break the mold. He made Fadnavis the chief minister in Maharashtra, where Brahmins rarely became chief minister. He made a non-Jat the chief minister in Haryana. He broke the mold there. He tried to break the mold in Karnataka. It didn't work.
Right.
So there is always a thing. And to me, the question is open. And the question is also open in Madhya Pradesh. We'll have to see the details of the victory. What is the kind of victory that the MP, that BJP gets? Because if they had to change the batting order in the last moment, that will not be forgotten after victory.
All right.
Yes, and you know, just to add to what Shankar was saying, Vishnu, in these elections, as a reporter who covers the BJP has fielded MPs in all the states. Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, even Telangana. They are sending the message that it is about finally zameen par jaakar ke apne aap ko test karo. Doesn't matter that you may be a top leader in Delhi, maybe a member of parliament, but it is about the last man. Go and test yourself. I think that is a big message that is coming from the party. And Professor Sandeep Shastri, you wanted to add something. Yes.
I think there are two other messages.
Yes, please. Go
One,
ahead.
through these central leaders who are contesting state elections, you're also trying to create a rainbow social coalition of the groups they represent.
Yes.
Secondly, I think it's because I've always felt ever since 2014, the surprise factor has been an important factor in every BJP decision. So, when you field the MPs, it's like telling people that whatever you are required to do. Now, if they win, very good. Come back to the center, complete your job before next year's Lok Sabha election.
Yes,
so the fact that the central leadership is the one which takes the decisions is what becomes clearly evident.
Yes, I just wanted to go across quickly to Harsha. And I just wanted to go through the various parts. There's East Marwar, there's the Mewar Haroti area, North, and if you look in terms of the total number of seats, the Mewar Haroti area accounts for 28 in the last assembly elections. Now, this was the one area compared to the others where the BJP was far ahead of the Congress in terms of seats, not so much in terms of vote percentage. What the BJP would have had to have done for this to have been a close election, as it appears, is that they would have had to have stretched their lead in Marwar and in the east while retaining their hold in the Mewar Haroti area, right?
Yes, so east is the key, Vishnu.
I see.
East is the key. The Congress made considerable gains in East Rajasthan. Sachin Pilot consolidated those votes for the Congress in the last election. If on the 3rd you see the BJP gaining in the east, it means that the BJP is gaining. So
that's you believe that that's where
I think
the east is going to be the deciding.
Absolutely.
You had a point, sir.
I have a small question. See, after September 22, has Ashok Gehlot's stature gone up? That he is going to reverse the trend that he always lost the election when he stood as chief minister. I believe his stature has gone up after his rebellion and
Okay, sir, I'm interrupting you now because we've got a difficult connection. Ajoy Kumar joins us at this stage. Sorry, Ajoy, we've been unable to get through to you properly earlier on. I think the real question that needs to be asked is, in terms of the Congress and the infighting in the state, the fact that we've seen it for so long between Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot, do you believe that irrespective of the outcome of these elections, that will be a factor which has not gone in your advantage by any circumstance?
First of all, Vishnu, for me to get into you was, I thought you guys were trying to not get me into the call. There was no problem with the connection, both for you, for your editorial team, and for Marya and you. So please don't mislead that there was a bad connection. I was hanging on for 15 minutes.
Ajoy, we were having a conversation.
I was told that there was a bad connection. So if there wasn't, great. Then our technical people have done a great job. So can you just answer the question, Ajoy?
No, first question. No. First, for the sake of decency, for the sake of decency, Vishnu, don't please face the fact that I was hanging on to your call from 9 o'clock, and you should have the grace, you and Marya should have the grace to accept it. Please don't say bad connection. The connection was good.
No, I was told it's a bad connection, but why don't you answer the question? We've got other panelists over here as well, Ajoy. Each panelist is as important as the other. So can you answer the question?
First of all, have the grace to accept. Then I'll answer the question.
By all means, I have the grace to accept that you were kept waiting, and that is something that doesn't work. If that is something that has irritated you, I apologize. Now, can you answer the question?
Yeah, now we'll answer the question.
Thank you so much.
I've been hearing you all. You seem to be ignorant of. I was hearing Nalin saying that in, Rajasthan they're willing. Wait, please call Nalin and me on the same day on the 3rd. And you be there and Marya be there, because I would like to see your comments on the 3rd on Rajasthan. The fact is that the Congress will be having more seats and will be touching the magical number which is needed, or maybe, that is my view. And I would like Nalin to be on the show. I remember this. I like to be Marya to be the show, and all those panelists who is speaking on it. Rajasthan is going Congress, and it is clear because of the effect of the Labharti. And the interesting part is...
So what about the exit polls, Ajoy? The exit polls, some are in your favor, some aren't.
So my question again, you'll be on the show on 3rd, I'll be on the show on 3rd. So that is not an issue. The other issue which I want to highlight is, why is NDTV missing the BJP in fighting? You seem to be it's very strange. I was hearing all of you. No Vasundhara Raje problem, no CP Joshi problem.
We just discussed Vasundhara Raje.
Amazing editorial, amazing editorial perspective.
No, there is no editorial perspective over here. If you are indicating that there is a slant on this program, there isn't any. But I'm not going to get into you, and I'm not going to have anybody sort of question. We are just messengers over here. We've tried to discuss all aspects of this. So you're now personalizing this, and that doesn't work. But Nalin, you asked a question of Nalin. You asked one sec, Ajoy. You asked a question of Nalin, and I think Nalin should answer. The question which was asked was that one way or the other, the Congress will be here winning on the 3rd. How would you respond? The Congress says the BJP doesn't have a chance.
First of all, I'm a little surprised. I must make this comment. Ajoy normally is not like his other colleagues, whom I often meet on TV. So I don't know what's happened, but I find Ajoy genuinely a very nice person, and doesn't get off the handle so easily. Ajoy, just for the record, I spoke once, and after 10 minutes I've been hearing the other panelists. There are 8, so some of us will wait for a while. Let's get back to the debate, and let's have a good debate, because Ajoy and I often have a good debate. So, coming back to the question, what choice would Ajoy, as a Congress spokesperson, or me, as a BJP spokesperson, have? On an exit poll day, neither of us is going to say that the other party is going to win. But on the 3rd, one of us is going to be right. So I believe with conviction that the BJP is going to win. And I have lots of reasons to believe why it would be. First, the Congress is not going to make history of beating the trend. Rajasthan sees this every 5-year replacement. Frankly, the parties that have broken the trend on a more regular basis has been the BJP. But we've lost it also. Number 2, I see no reason for Ashok Gehlotji's government to come back on the indices that are being spoken about. Because the focus of that government was the intestine war between the leaders of the party through the 5 years. And if in a government, a business entity is to be the center of the political discourse of the central leader of the Congress party, then it just tells you what the politics of their focus is. It's not about development. It's not about, the focus of what local people want. Law and order suffered, everything is there. Now, Ajoy would refute all of this.
In fact, Ajoy
so I'm happily saying to NDTV, please call us both on the 3rd.
Yes.
All right, so you both
let's have a talk again.
Now,
and I'm
Ajoy,
saying it right here.
Now, Nalin has taken up your challenge. We booked you now for the 3rd. We'll have you at the same time. And I won't keep you waiting for 15 minutes.
Ajoy wants to come in.
But go right ahead, Ajoy. Respond to him.
So, look, I don't know where Nalin is a good friend, where the idea of Mr. Adani or everything has gone in. I've been in Telangana for the past 40 days, but I've been following Rajasthan closely. The fact is those schemes have worked. The fact is that the women have voted in large numbers. The fact is that the Bharatiya Janata Party had no story to tell. And I might keep criticizing the BJP or anybody else. Most of their ministers who are fighting or losing their election, the MPs who have fought, the ministers who have fought, and all these guys are. And I'm candidly telling you that the Rajasthan numbers, the Congress will touch the magical number. It will be a tough fight for sure. That's a fact. I'm not saying that it's easy, but history is going to be created in Rajasthan that there would be a repeat of what happened 5 years back. Now, I know Nalin also has to say the same thing. Like, I mean, we all, when we come onto the TV, have to say. But
it's good to see you smiling. My question is, let's go with numbers now. Since you are confident that Rajasthan is coming your way and Nalin is going with the exit polls, because exit polls are showing that it will follow the parampara or the practice or tradition that Rajasthan has seen for 30 years. Let's go with numbers. Give us some numbers. I will challenge you with that on third. Ajoy.
Sorry,
no, what is the minimum number of numbers, minimum number that the Congress would be happy with or expecting?
So one sec. So I was looking at the numbers of the earlier exit polls. The earlier exit polls, frankly speaking, majority of them have got it wrong. And I'm not saying that Axis is the best or I'm not propagating a particular poll. But the record of all the exit polls are quite shambolic. That's a fact. You know, it's pretty shambolic. And I need to pull out the
Axis
paper.
Is giving Madhya Pradesh to the BJP with a landslide.
No, and the logic of Madhya Pradesh is that a lot of these smaller parties have cut into the votes. Now, I'm not saying that, look, if you ask me whether the logic, look, Axis is giving Telangana where I'm right now based at. So Telangana is definitely, and everybody else at BRS, but I'm telling you confidently, again, please call me, and you and Vishnu and Nalin, on Telangana. It is going to be a 65 to 75
No, but
seats.
it's been strongly suggested that is the case. That is a state that is possibly going to the Congress party. All the exit polls seem to suggest that also by and large.
I can put my bet on Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, Telangana for sure. The reports which are coming in because maybe the smaller parties.
States of 5, Vishnu.
One sec. The smaller parties cut into the lot of our votes. That's what is the analysis going around. I don't know how far it's correct. I would pray that we win Madhya Pradesh, but as what I think, so if the logic is correct, it is a possibility. So I'm not going into that place.
So a close fight possibly in Madhya Pradesh. You're confident of doing well or winning in the others. That's your point, right?
I feel so. So I feel that it's going to be it's very difficult to call them Madhya Pradesh, but these Telangana for sure. I've been 45 days now, totally stationed in Telangana.
Okay, Ajoy, I am interrupting you now, and I'm not to keep you waiting or anything. I need to take a break. And we'll come back in a little while. We'll be looking very closely at Chhattisgarh next, Mizoram as well. So do stay tuned. More coming.